If you missed my full review of the Pocket 2, there's a link in the description below. But this video is a direct comparison between the Pocket 1 and the Pocket 2. And when I started making this video, I thought the conclusion was going to be the Pocket 2 is better at pretty much everything, so buy that. But by the time I'd finished comparing all the footage side by side, the winner wasn't quite so clear, and some of the results might surprise you. To keep it fair, I have both cameras bolted to the same grip with the same exposure settings. I'll break the video category into smaller subcategories, starting with field of view. On the left is the Pocket 1 with its 80-degree field of view. On the right is the Pocket 2 with its 93-degree field of view. I can't tell you which is better because it's quite a subjective thing, but for me, the wider field of view is much more preferable. I love the colours on the Pocket 2, but then I love them on the Pocket 1 as well. It's only when I put both side by side that I can see the differences. The Pocket 2 has a very natural, slightly warm colour profile, but the Pocket 1 is a little warmer, and I like warmth, as long as the reds aren't too forward. In some scenes I prefer the Pocket 2, like with these shops. The blue sky looks better and I just like the overall look more. But in this scene of leaves and berries, I actually prefer the colours on the Pocket 1. So it's going to have to be a tie for the colour science. When it comes to dynamic range, the Pocket 1 was mostly good, but the Pocket 2 does a better job of balancing the highs and lows, and I find it to be quite amazing for that. One area the Pocket 1 struggled with a lot was with direct sunlight. It usually automatically exposes for the sky and darkens everything on the ground too much. The Pocket 2 does the opposite and exposes for the ground, which is a very good thing. So the Pocket 2 wins for dynamic range. The Pocket 2 has a wider field of view and probably better gimbal programming, so it really excels at stabilisation. It's not that the Pocket 1 was bad, it's just not as smooth as the newer model. I notice the difference most when I'm running. The Pocket 1 can vibrate and shake a little bit, whereas the Pocket 2 is noticeably more steady. Both cameras produce a beautiful video quality, but the Pocket 2 to me looks better in most situations. I think it's mainly because of the better dynamic range and the more stable shots. It deals with harsh light better and autofocus is more reliable, and all that put together makes the results look more pleasing, at least to me. But the difference is smaller than I first thought, and the Pocket 1 still produces really beautiful footage. The Pocket 1 has a 1/2.3 inch sensor and an f2.0 aperture lens, whereas the Pocket 2 has a larger 1/1.7 inch sensor and a faster f1.8 aperture lens, which means it has more light gathering capability, and that's why the Pocket 2 footage looks better in low light. When both cameras are set to manual exposure with identical settings, the Pocket 2 nearly always has less noise. It also goes up to ISO 6400, which is one stop higher than the Pocket 1's 3200. Both can shoot 120 frames per second at 1080p, but on the Pocket 2, the field of view is wider and the footage is less cropped, which I think makes it more useful and more cinematic. It's also more stable and generally nicer looking. But I have to say, when it comes to filming slow motion in golden hour, I much prefer the colors on the Pocket 1. They're just so much warmer. The Pocket 2 also does 240 frames per second at 1080p, which is something that the Pocket 1 can't do. Megapixels, schmegapixels. It's all just big numbers at this point. What matters to most people is, I think, which camera takes better photos, and is it a significant upgrade? The Pocket 2 makes a big fuss about being 64 megapixels. DJI say the Pocket 1's image resolution is 4000 by 3000, but the Pocket 2's image resolution is 9216 by 6912 pixels. It isn't. I photographed this violin with both cameras in RAW and in JPEG, and the Pocket 2's resolution is only a little higher than the Pocket 1. What makes the Pocket 2 a better camera is the better low light and better dynamic range, not the resolution. And photos from both cameras are very similar, so again, the improvement is not nearly as great as I originally thought. This is why side-by-side comparisons are so important. Let me know in the comments if I'm right or if I've missed something. The Pocket 1 was quite good at tracking, even though it had to overcome its relatively narrow field of view to keep objects in frame. The Pocket 2 is advertised as having superior tracking, and with a wider field of view, this should be an easier task for the Pocket 2. But in reality, it's terrible. It seems that DJI made a bit of a whoopsie with the tracking. The Pocket 2 not only tracks with a sometimes jerky motion, but it loses tracking altogether much more often than the Pocket 1. I've seen a few people mention this now, so it's not just me. Between the Pocket 1, the Pocket 2 and the Fimi Palm, the Pocket 2 has the worst tracking by far. Audio was one of the most criticized aspects of the Pocket 1. The Pocket 2 doubles the number of mics and adds features like audio zoom, which loudens the audio when you zoom into a subject, and a kind of 360-degree audio mode, which changes the mix of the 4 mics to follow the audio wherever the camera is pointing. And it sounds a lot better than the Pocket 1, but on auto volume, the level is much quieter on the Pocket 2 versus the Pocket 1, and so it needs to be boosted a lot in post. Alright, let's test the stereo microphones. The Osmo Pocket 1 doesn't have stereo microphones. So if I go onto this side, let's hear how it sounds over here. And then I'm going to move over to the other side. Audio test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Audio test. Now I'm going to go all the way around the back of the cameras. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to keep on coming around the side, and I'm going to end up back at the front of the cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Audio test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we getting face tracking? Okay, it's very noisy at the minute. So I'll do some talking and let's see how it copes with background noise like cars driving past me at great speed. Audio test 1, 2, 3. And there's a lawnmower in the background. I picked the perfect moment to test audio. This time I'm going to start over on this side of the camera. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Talking to the side of the camera. The tracking has lost me. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Let's move our way around to the other side of the cameras, and let's see if it can still pick up my voice. My words are stumbling. And let's move back to the front of the cameras. Let's see if it can still hear me over on this side of the camera. Follow me around this side. Come on, tracking, don't let go. No, tracking, let me go. Okay, it's got me again. Let's go over to this side of the cameras. Can you hear any difference? Is the sound of my voice moving from one ear to the other? Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Both Pockets have the same battery, but the Pocket 2 is a higher performance camera, and so it made sense to me why I felt that it drains the battery a bit faster when I'm out in the world shooting clips. But under this slightly more scientific test, I was surprised to see that the Pocket 2 actually lasted a bit longer. And I'm thinking it's because in this scene, the gimbal motors are barely moving and the image is barely changing. But when I'm out moving around in constantly changing environments and the gimbal motors are working hard, the battery seems to run out faster. Or so I thought. But after doing the stationary test, now I'm not so sure. And so I'm just going to say the battery life on these cameras are pretty close. And if you were happy on the Pocket 1's battery, you'll probably not notice much difference on the Pocket 2. Both cameras will record 4K 60 continuously in a stationary position at room temperature for at least an hour without overheating and shutting down, though the Pocket 2 does get a bit hotter. The Pocket 1 allowed you to choose between 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, so you could pick the band with the least interference for your location and get a better connection. The Pocket 2 doesn't allow that choice. It also, in my experience, provides an inferior Wi-Fi connection. Sometimes when using it at anything more than a few meters distance, it becomes unusable. The Pocket 1 provides a more stable connection for me. I like the Pocket 1 case because it was easy to take the camera out and quickly start shooting. The Pocket 2 case is so tight, it's more difficult and annoying to take the camera out. It also leaves white marks on the gimbal, even after the 100th time I've taken the camera out. so I'm not a big fan of the new case. My overall feelings about the Pocket 2 are a little bit mixed. On one hand, it offers greatly improved video quality, a wider field of view, more background separation thanks to the f1.8 lens and a larger sensor, better low light performance, better slow motion, and better audio. But it has much worse tracking. A bit of a dodgy Wi-Fi connection, at least with the Wi-Fi adapter I'm not sure about the do-it-all handle, and it gets hot faster. And I don't like the case, but that might be subjective. So it's not just a case of being better in every way to the previous model, and that's why I still think of it as a Pocket 1.5. I remain hopeful that DJI are working on a fix for the tracking and the Wi-Fi connection, and that the HDR video they told us it would have but didn't is coming soon. For me, it was still a very much worth the upgrade because the footage I can get out of it is significantly better than before, and I really look forward to using it a lot over the coming months. Even though where I live, everything's just gonna look white and muddy brown for the next 6 months. I miss summer so much, but I don't miss the flies. I hate flies. If you found this useful or interesting, I always appreciate a thumbs up, and I really appreciate all the kind comments you've left me on my last video. There are so many nice people in the Osmo Pocket community, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.